Okay, it's live now. Let's see if I can get it to link. Hmm. Okay, everybody, if you're here and you're seeing me, I am working to try to link everybody to the live stream. So, give me just a minute. That's weird. Okay. Turn this off. Let's see here. Okay. All right, everybody, if you're here watching me, I'm trying to just get everybody's, get it set up so that everybody knows where I'm at. So just give me a couple of minutes. I tried to get on early. I'm I have one more spot to post this in, and then hopefully everybody can find me. Goodness. Well, where's it at? Okay. If anybody's watching and I can't see you, I'll be there in just a few minutes. I just am trying to get everybody sorted out here. Okay. Okay, everybody I'm hoping everybody can hear me. I have the chat live. I hope everybody can hear me, see me. I'm going to start this in about 1 minute, actually. It's almost 8 o'clock. For some unknown reason, I cannot go live on Facebook, and I've had a really bad time with the way the camera, the system that the camera uses right now. So I'm afraid I can't zoom in. I still haven't quite figured out why the two systems don't work together, but and I didn't have a lot of time this week. I don't know, some of you may know my 10-month-old computer decided to die last Sunday. It was totally dead. It would not boot up at all. It didn't give me any lights or anything. So I guess one person's here. If whoever's here watching, if you could just let me know that you can hear me, it would really be nice. I appreciate that. You just have to do that in chat. At least I think I have that all set up right. Oh, I want live chat. Right? Yeah, live chat. Okay. Chat's all set up, and I guess I'm going to start. It says there's 2 people watching me. I'm hoping that you can hear me. Like I said, if you are watching, I would really appreciate just a yep, you can hear me kind of thing. We're gonna tonight. This is a little variation on my YouTube channel, but I couldn't go live on Facebook, and I'm doing a show, and I wanted everybody to know how to use these flat kinds of flower beads that I make. These the fact that the bead is not a round bead and that the side is not the pretty part, it's the front, and that the hole goes through the middle. Now I'll put something through the hole so you can see this one. See, the hole goes through the middle. This is easier to see on this one. It means that a lot of times if you're stringing it, it looks like this. Well, that's not the pretty part. So we want to be able to see this and hopefully make it lay where the design shows. And this is an earring, and the way it hangs in your ear, then the piece sits to the front. So you can see that. I do all kinds of things with these. I make pendants, and these are just on rings so that you can add a necklace to them. The earrings, these little ones are really cute. I just love these. I think they're just so dainty. I use disc beads, from fancy disc beads to these little tiny disc beads. These are some fancy, I call them my 60s flowers. And that's just another earring. So we're going to need a few things. And one of those things is something to make the center of the flower look cute. Now, on this one, it's a bead cap. Can you see the cap? Okay, and this one has a little bead cap that's upside down. It's a little flower. This has a big daisy spacer with another daisy spacer on top of it. This one has some cute little spacer beads they're actually plastic, but they're so cute. They're colored. This regular daisy spacers work real well. And this one's another bead cap. And you can see the bead cap if I hold it sideways. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these flower beads, and we're going to need a few things besides the bead cap, the spacers, which I have some little daisy spacers. I have these fun little flower spacers. Then I've got some little tiny daisy spacers, and that is because these daisy spacers have too big a hole. We're going to need some ear wires. For a pendant later, we're going to need a little, oh, it's escaped me. It's just a large ring. We're going to need some head pins, and this one is, because it's actually going to go through your ear, this one is surgical steel, and I like long head pins if you can't tell. Then we're going to need a shorter one, because I'm going to show you two different styles. Now, the shorter one, it is 2.5 inches long, and the longer one is 3 inches long. And the biggest thing with wire or head pins or anything like that is don't short yourself. If you short yourself, then it ends up making your life miserable. It's too hard to work with. So it's always better to just have enough to start with and cut it off. You're going to need some tools. Basically, you're going to need some wire cutters. These are an interesting pair of jewelry pliers. They have graduated size. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, right there. They're graduated and they're different sizes. So there's 6 different sizes on there. I like those for certain things. And your standard conical wire pieces. So now then you're also going to need some E6000. And I love these little tubes because when it gets hard, you can throw it away, and it never fails that I use a little bit and then I end up throwing the rest away. So I did find today that this is a little bit thick, but it's thin enough to work with. And I always just put some out on my paper. Oh, you need toothpicks. Next time I open this one, I'm guessing that it will be no good. So then I'm going to take my head pin, and a head pin simply has a little tiny piece, flat piece on it. This one is flat anyway, so you can get round ones. I'm going to use a real tiny daisy spacer because, like I said, these little flowers have kind of a big hole. So I'm going to put that little flower on there, and then something else I do, lampwork beads have a pretty large hole in them for the most part. I use a 3/32 inch mandrel. That's pretty common for lampwork artists to use. And I like to fill up my hole around my head pin with some size 11 seed beads. And I'm just going to pick up about 4 seed beads. And the idea behind the seed beads is that it will fill the space around the head pin and just make the head pin stay in there better. Then I'm going to put one of these daisy spacers on the back. And I like to glue with E6000. Now, I shouldn't have talked. That E6000 is dry enough that it's, and I lift the little daisy spacer up and I tuck a little dab of E6000 into the hole. And we're going to have to get some better E6000 out. That one's too dry. Always have lots of toothpicks. Yeah, that's better. And the reason for gluing this spacer on the back is it just makes a little bit nicer seat. And what I'm doing is I'm just tucking some E6000 in the hole. Of the bead and then sticking the little daisy spacer down on top of it. Now, you can't see it very well, but if you get a little E6000 around the edges, just take your toothpick and clean it off. That's why you want more toothpicks. And then you're going to set that aside. And we're going to do both of these right now just because I want to have them both ready in case we need them. However, they should sit aside for at least a couple hours. And I'm just using little black seed beads. That's just what I had that was there. Like I said, always make sure to have another toothpick. Let's stick it down. Now, like I said, if you sit these aside and let them dry for a few hours, just out of the way, you end up with a piece that the little spacer is stuck in place. Now, it usually sticks the head pin in place too, but I'm not worried about that. It just, that little spacer being seated just makes a nicer finish on the back of your earring. You can see that. Oops. See, it just is attached right there. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually make the drop of the head. The head pin is going to make it drop. If it drops, it will stay hanging forward like it's supposed to. So the biggest and most important thing is to not bend this head pin first. You want to about, and I usually put my finger in there, about 1/2 inch up or 3/8 of an inch with an earring. And I usually use my finger. I don't usually measure. I'm going to take this head pin and I'm going to bend it at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to then wrap the head pin around my conical pliers, around my nose pliers, and then do a wrapped loop. You see that? Let's see if I can lift it up. Okay, because I was talking and doing it in the air, that's not a very pretty one. I'll probably take this apart later. But, there we go. We have a wrapped loop, and we're going to cut loose the wire. Now, anytime you cut a piece of wire with wire cutters, hold that piece of wire. Do not just cut it, because it will fling off and smack you right in the face usually. So we're going to cut it off. And we're going to make sure that our end is tucked in. Okay, now then we have this wire sticking out the back of our earring. All we're going to do is take it and bend it straight up. Can you see that now? And what that's going to do is it's going to allow for the bead to sit flat on the earring. And we're going to take our little ear wire and we're going to open the little loop and put this on. Oh heavens, my fingers are totally getting in the way, I know. Okay, and then we'll close it back up. And that lets our earring hang the way it should. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing if we want to do a pendant. What we're going to do is we have a larger piece. I've done exactly the same thing with the little bit of E6000. This is one of my black metallic flowers. Hi, Marcia. This was a impromptu decision. I'm going to take this and I am going to do exactly the same thing. Although with a bead this size, I'm going to go just a little further out, not 3/8 of an inch, closer to 1/2 inch, and bend it at a 45-degree angle, just like I did the last one, and make a wrapped loop. And this time I'm going to not pay attention to the camera. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing. Oh, well, that won't work at all if we close it. What we're going to do is we're going to put on, before we close it, we're going to put on our ring. And because I wasn't paying attention, I made that too small. So we're going to have to open it back up again and wrap it around something bigger. I'm just making a mess tonight. I think I'm going to have to totally redo this video. And then we're going to slip on this ring. And wrap this around here. Now, once again, don't cut this piece of wire off without holding it. Okay, now we have our ring attached to our head pin. We're going to make sure our little end is in the way it should be. Sometimes I have to use the pliers way up here. Okay, and then I'm just going to fold it up. You can watch. Can you see? Just fold it like that. And then it will hang like it's supposed to. Flat. Huh. Marcia, I don't know what the chat is. It's really hard to see. I can't see it for the most part. The other earring we're going to do is this style where the head pin actually is the ear wire. And I really, really, really like these. Let me see if I can put it down here where you can see it. Maybe my hand. There we go. These just sit really nicely. Now you do need to use one of these little ear nuts on it. Just to be safe. These are little rubber grommet type things, and if you just put it on a little bit, they stay in your ears really well because it's longer. For me, it's more comfortable because it doesn't pinch, and then it doesn't dangle so much. It sits right at the bottom of your ear. So all I'm doing is this head pin is longer, and I just fold it up like so, right behind the little daisy spacer. You can see that. There we go. And then I take my big, almost the biggest one. Let's see which one I've used in the past. I'm pretty sure it's the third. No. Yeah, it's the second to the biggest one. So it gives me something that's almost as big as my pinky finger, if you can see that. And then I just roll this back around it. Now I just get hold of it up here and I roll it down. And then once it's level, I just take my thumb and bring it on down here. Now, if this is too long, you can cut it off. You don't have to leave this whole length. I get one size and then I can choose to cut it or not cut it. This one, quite frankly, I think is a little long. So I will cut it off. Well, let's cut about a half an inch, or I'd say about 3/4 of an inch off. I have to check to make sure that it's not too sharp. Now, you need to make sure your pliers are designed to cut it flush. And then you've got your earrings all finished. So one of those little ear nuts, and you can put it back on, like so. And there again, it's going to hang flat on your ear, right in front of your ear. It's going to lay the way you want it to lay. I'm going to do this one again. I'll probably take this one apart and start over again. But I'm going to do the other one over again just because I did such a terrible job of the wire wrapped loop. So I'm going to do it one more time for you. I'm going to take hold of this about 3/8 of an inch up. And guys, I told you earlier I use my finger. I actually use the width of my fingernail. That's how I do it a lot of times. Grab it, bend it at a 45-degree angle. Oops, see there? 45 or close. Wrap it around the pliers, and then make a nice, neat spiral wrap. Clip it off very close. Bend it up. You're going to open your ear wire and slip it on. And I'm real sorry that you can't see this any better than you can tonight. I thought I had everything worked out. One day things work, and then the next day YouTube and the camera software's changed. So that is how I do that. Now, if you want to put some little vines behind your flower, all I did to do that is I used, this is wax linen, and I always save my little pieces. And what I do is, I'm going to use red just so you can see it. And you just slip it on the back side, tie it around your head pin, tie a nice little knot. And then add some little seed beads until you get long enough vines to make you happy. And if you want 4 vines or 6 vines, just add another piece of wax linen. And I'll show you a little trick about how to tie a knot so that you get your vines real nice and snug. If you just use, go ahead and just do a granny knot, just over and around, and you've got this little hole. Use a straight pin or this is a head pin. Just slide it up here. And you've got your knot nice and tight. Now I always make 2 knots so that it doesn't come off. Okay, guys, I'm going back over to Glass Melters Open Market and finish up with work on my show. And I may redo this whole video and where I can do it a little closer because I don't know that you could see things as well as you should. Marcia, thanks for coming in. I don't know who else was here, but I know there was 5 or 6 people here. Maybe when I go back to Facebook, I'll see who was here. So, guys, it's going to take me a few minutes to move the computer back over, and then I'll be here to answer questions. I have to shut my computer completely off to move it. That was one of the things the guys told me. They did manage to save my computer, but they're concerned about the way the battery is sitting in it. So I will be back on Facebook in just a little bit,